not my friend, right? I want to speak on something that kept me alive and out of prison during my time in the streets. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, the plug, right? Well, I was the socket. I kept this on the low while I entertained people, but if you knew, you knew. I wasn't the type of guy to have a lot of flash or wear lots of jewelry. I learned at a young age that the right relationship is worth more than money. In fact, the right relationship is your path to money. I was blessed to know the New York City boys. If you know, you know. Anyway, this connection got me the best prices when it came to being a street doctor, and being in North Carolina, this was a big deal. I had a couple of things that worked in my favor while being in the midst of the streets. When I arrived in the Gate City, the first thing I was told was not to mess with the locals, as they called them, and to stay away from certain projects and clubs. But from what I could see, people here were what I called country dumb. Country dumb is when you think because you are from a place where the pace of living is much faster than the place you are at, you believe you are smarter than the people in that place. Being from a small town full of dirt roads and no streetlights made getting away with crimes a lot easier, and also gave you more experience with crimes. So when my brother and the city boys told me to stay away from the places they suggested, I went headfirst to those areas. I built relationships with the girls that the locals saw as low class and unworthy. This gave me an inside track to becoming one of the biggest dealers in the city in a very short time. Before long, I knew everybody that was somebody in that city, from the lowest level to the very top tier. I could be in a place where if you weren't from that side, it was over for you. But by being known by the people who you needed to be known by, it saved my life many times. In one case, I was in a club that I always went to when some guys noticed that I always spent lots of money. I knew of them, but they didn't know of me. Remember the "your friend is not my friend" story? This is one of those cases. I was dealing with a girl that kept some of my product at her home, when all of a sudden, I started to see her family member had moved in and would always bring her baby daddy to the house. Because this happened so fast, I couldn't get my product out of the house without being seen. So I started talking to the young man to get a feel for him. In the songs and the video, I state, real recognize real, so I let that sell it, right? I recognized the jack boy mindset of this fella. He did exactly what I expected and went telling his crew what was up with me. So when they realized I was the guy from the club, they had plans of getting me robbed. But here's the kicker to this story. Remember I said that I knew people on every level from the city? Well, at one point in time, I went on the run from a sting set up by the cops and happened to run into a family that stayed across the street from one of my hideouts. The young son from the family came over and asked for some sugar and told me about his brother that was in prison and how he ended up there. Ever since he's been locked up, the family was doing bad. His mom was sickly, and he was too young to get a job. While I was there, I took care of the family and later had to move on months before the brother got out. A year later, I returned to the city and was introduced to the brother by my barber because we both did music, and I was in contact with Big Fendi from New York. The brother finds out that I was the guy helping his family and told me if I ever needed him to give him a call. Remember this verse, I got that wolf in my blood? Well, the brother didn't know my history, and I felt that I wouldn't need him because I would do what I had to do. Which takes me back to the club and the plan of being robbed. I could see what was happening, so I placed myself up against the wall so no one could get behind me. I noticed that they were waiting for some reason to make the move when the club door opens, and in walks Lil Buddy, the guy that said to give him a call. As he walks in, one of the guys nods in my direction, and when Lil Buddy sees me, he walks over and points at me and asks, "Who? Him?" And they start coming my way. Lil Buddy says, "Hell nah, y'all MFS are stupid. Not one hair will be touched, and if I hear of anybody robbing or harming this dude, it's gonna be a fucking problem on sight." It turns out he was the leader of this Jack Boy crew and a gang leader. Later, the girl tells me that her family member tried to set me up, but they didn't know I was the boss's friend. He asked the girl, "Who is this dude?" Her reply was, "Only necessary people know who he is." Straight like that.
Tell him about it. This just some Carolina shit. Tell him about it. Some Carolina shit. Tell him about it. I don't ball no more. I don't ball. I let the air out, nigga. Clothes was getting too smelly. Had the air out, nigga. Yeah, I'm still on the team, but I don't dress out. I got an eye for the talent. Coach want me to stay. back for a minute, scoped out the game. I separated from some facts and got rid of some lanes. Yeah, it's dirt road, got my hands on a lick. A fully stock click, that's as real as it get. Bitch, you get hit.